you wanna go? Go to a place. I wanna go. Go to a place. Do you wanna go? Go to a place. I wanna go to a place. I can take you there. I can take you there. Do you wanna go? Go to a place. I can take you there. Say there. Do you wanna go? Go to a place. Search far and wide by your side.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mosaic with TJ Randolph. I am TJ Randolph, and I say Mosaic because I am a beautiful work of art made of many broken pieces. Please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. This is really an impromptu thing. You see, I'm not at my desk. I'm actually sitting on my ottoman, wanting to have some dialogue with you tonight. I literally just decided to do this about 45 minutes ago. About 45 minutes ago. And I thought it important to kind of get my take on it because I am a 55 and a half year old woman, and I've been looking at some of the stuff, and I just had some things I want to share. But before I do that, I have to go through the announcements. So shout out to my hardworking trucker man who's on his way home to me right now. And all the truckers traveling these highways and byways, bringing us our much needed goods and keeping the supply chain going. Shout out to my firstborn nephew, Ryan Spunk Adams, whose song you heard Noun on the intro. My firstborn nephew, my baby before I had a baby. Follow him on all streaming platforms under I Am Spunk. His music can be found on Apple Music under Spunk Adams. And shout out to my niecey poo, Lucky Maree, who put together, there she is, who put together the intro that I absolutely love. So let me go ahead and give a couple of hellos. Shout out to Lucky Maree, Lucky, my niecey poo. Hey, Eugene. Hey, RM in the building. I appreciate you for coming through. And also, I have another announcement. Okay. I have another announcement. I'm going to share my screen really quick. I have another announcement for those who are in the DFW area. Let me show this to you. For those in the DFW area, I want to share this with you. My fruit, who's also known as my daughter. My fruit, Danny B. She has launched her Grazing Queen website, okay? And if you're in the DFW area, let's take a look at this, shall we? I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up so you all can see it. Right. Okay. So you can see, hopefully you can see this here. She just launched her website today. This is the Mother's Day edition. You see how beautiful this is? Yummy. See how yummy that is? Okay. Yeah. This is the Mother's Day edition. So follow her on the Grazing Queen website, and I will put that in the description. And if you're in the DFW area, order yours today. Okay. All right, let's get to it. I took some notes because you all know that I have a tendency to be all over the place, and sometimes I forget what I want to say. So let's get to it. Suffice it to say, everyone has seen what has happened with respect to Melanie King's her live she did with MTR, and the subsequent backlash as a result of that. So I found it serendipitous that this video or this collaboration and the backlash after that came right after the weekend of my OU reunion, where I was sharing with you how I was very mindful early on about certain things to do in public, largely because of being drunk early and finding myself in a hotel room, not knowing where I was, and said, okay, I'm not going to do that again. And, get into trouble in my younger years. So let's fast forward to her collaboration with MTR. I think in theory, it was a good idea because they both have, different perspectives, very similar perspectives. But I think the execution may have been a little bit flawed. Now, let me back up. Now, I have been on her show a couple of times. I shared with her, I think it was sometime last year, she was surprised to find that I went to school with Kevin. And I've called into her show and we bantered back and forth. And let me be clear. This is not going to be a live about bashing at all. It's not. It's going to be the perspective of a 55-year-old woman who has been a single mother, who's lived my life in the spotlight. Now, not as big as YouTube for sure, but I've had people looking at me because I've had high profile positions in the federal government and in the military, and my reputation was important to me. So thinking about what I saw, and I didn't see the whole thing, but the thing that I did see with MTR and the drinking and getting a little bit mellow, as my mom used to say, that didn't lend itself well for her, in my opinion. And I'm going to tell you why. I think she said that she's 41. And I know that she has daughters. There's going to come a time that her daughters are going to see that. And she's going to have to explain. It may not be an issue for her, but that was always something that that I was mindful of, particularly, again, going to the fact that I was in the military. At the time I was 41, I think I just got out of the military. But prior to that, my daughter, was between 12 and 14. And at that time, social media was just burgeoning. So it wasn't like it is now. And I think that was kind of poor judgment on her part to be somewhat inebriated and flirtatious with this man on YouTube. Now, I just don't think that was the best decision for her. I don't think it served her well as a mother and a mother of young girls. I think one of the things as an older woman I have tried to do is to be mindful of my presence, even before I became married. Because as I shared with you, the other day, that young women were younger than me were coming to me saying to me how they saw me out and about on campus and the different things I'd done in my career. And they said they wanted to be like that. They wanted to be like me. I was mindful of when I was in the military as an officer, how I conducted myself, because there were young women in general, Black women specifically, who saw me as an example and said that they wanted to be like me. So I've always felt that I had a responsibility. And I think she kind of dropped the ball on that. No, okay, look, she dropped the ball on that. It was not the best look for her. And if I had the opportunity to talk with her, I would share with her that she is in a unique position, that she has a reach, that she can reach young women. And she is an example, but she has to decide what kind of example that is. Now, listen to me. Everybody's made mistakes. And y'all know I've shared mine. So again, there is judgment because we all judge, but there's no condemnation here. There's no condemnation here. But we all judge because judging is making an assessment. And my assessment of what I saw was not beneficial to her. It was not beneficial to her brand. It's not beneficial to young women. It's not beneficial to what she may have to explain to her daughters at some point. Okay, that's one thing. She talked about, okay, let me see here. I understand the desire to want to call in to certain places once the crap has hit the fan and you want to explain your side. And you want to defend your reputation. I've done it. I've done it since I've been in YouTube. But the truth of the matter is, no one really cares about your side. No one really cares about the truth. They only care about what is salacious, what will get the views and clicks. No one cares about your side. No one cares that you want to clear your name because they really don't care about your name being cleared. So with that, I would say to her, you don't owe these people a goddamn thing. Excuse me. She doesn't owe these people, none of us, a goddamn thing about her personal life. No. And I'm going to tell you something. You said that Kevin is or was your mentor. I can guarantee you that he would have advised you not to go on not one show to explain yourself. I can guarantee you that. Again, I knew Kevin for over 30 years. And even though he and I had not spoken in recent years, I watched him. And again, he didn't go back and forth with people. He wasn't going to do it. So I guarantee you, he would have advised you not to do that. And if you felt that you needed to explain yourself, he would have said, do it on your own show. But you don't owe any of us an explanation about your personal life. Now, granted, divorce document, those things are public records. I've been divorced. And interestingly enough, because I have been divorced, when I was going through the divorce with her father, my daughter's father, I was mindful of certain things that I would say and do. And it was pretty ugly, I ain't gonna lie. But I was mindful because I knew at some point she would be able to get that information herself. But the only people owe an explanation are your kids, your family. So I think you erred in that. But I understand that because, again, I've done it too. since I've been in this space, because my reputation is very important to me because of the standard to which I hold myself. But I have to be reminded that everyone doesn't have that same standard. And more importantly, I don't know these people. I don't know these people. And like I said, this is a hobby for me. The little coins are cute, but that's not why I'm here. So you don't owe these people anything. Let me read a couple of comments really quickly. Okay, says she ain't no example, TJ. She has no business trying to be an accountability holder or relationship guru who is over 600. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Well, one thing I know for sure, people value things that they have to spend money on. Now, me personally, I do not purport to be an expert on anything other than HR. That I'm an expert on. that I'm an expert on. But as far as relationships, not so much. As far as parenting, not so much, because I've shared with you the mistakes that I've made. But I will submit to you, she is an example. I will submit to you, even when I was on active duty, there are always examples, good and bad ones. There were officers who were good examples. I said, I want to be like that. And there were officers that were poor examples. I said, I don't want to be nothing like that. So she's an example, as am I. And because of that, we choose what kind of example we want to be. Now, here's the thing, not to say that we don't have some missteps, because y'all know I have. I've had to cuss a couple of people out. I had to get out of character. But for the most part, I like to consider myself to be pretty consistent. But again, she doesn't owe us anything. And what I find very disheartening is it's one thing to go at her if you feel that she has done something that she needs to atone for. But it's something different when you bring the children into it. And I have learned in this space, and not just in this space, I think in society as a whole right now, people have no limits. People have no limits, especially when they can hide behind an avatar. I think it's very distasteful. But hey, that's just my opinion. Okay, let's get down to it. Okay. As I was watching her go onto these various shows, I was thinking to myself, why okay, why haven't her friends said, get your ass off of that? Now, they may have, because shout out to Courtney, shout out to Lucky. Sometimes they've told me, TJ, don't do that. And I've done it anyway. So that's a possibility. That's a possibility. But in my mind, excuse me, I'm a little bit confused, Gray Pill. Why are you here? I'm just a little bit confused. Because if my memory serves me correctly, you're kind of tossing around all these spaces that are very messy. And messy where I am concerned, where my name has been brought up. So I'm really kind of curious as to why you're here. Just curious. So again, my thing is, where were your friends, sweetheart? Where were your friends? TLC, what about your friends? And that's one of the things I said the other day when I was recapping my weekend at OU, when I got drunk early on in my life, 19-ish. I made sure if I ever found myself inebriated, that I was surrounded by people who would prevent me from making a fool of myself. And I'm going to say this, and I'm sorry if I put my name out there. In my opinion, MTR was not a good friend to you in that moment. Now, maybe he was, drunk too, but in my opinion, maybe that was the game plan. Maybe that was what you all were going for. But in my opinion, he wasn't a good friend to you. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I have been out in my younger years, pre-K generally, meaning pre-kid. And I may have found myself, slipping. Shout out to my Omega Sci-Fi brothers. And they would see me slipping. They said, no, we got you. They never would have allowed that. Ever. And I saw some of them last weekend that took care of me. So in my opinion, he didn't serve you as a friend. I'm going to take a drink on that. What am I drinking? I am drinking a blueberry margarita in the comfort of my own home. So I just don't think he served you well on that as a friend. Because if you were my friend, I was to get your ass off of there right now. Fade to black. If I felt you was getting a little tipsy, fade to black. We'll be back after this commercial break. Because I have your best interest at heart. So let's get back to some of the backlash. I know a lot of the backlash is because it is believed and felt that she speaks disparagingly to and about Black women. Not unlike her mentor, Kevin. Now, y'all know, I've said it once, I've said it a million times, I said it when he was alive. There were some things I agreed with, but there are some things I did not. There are some things I felt that, inasmuch as he would say, and I think she has said too, that fathers talk to their daughters like that. I disagree with that. Fathers are direct, but they are not cruel. They're not cruel. They're direct because they don't have time for all this superfluous stuff. They get straight to the point, but they are not cruel. And more often than not, when it comes to their daughters, they are careful because they know that they're sensitive. They know that their feelings get hurt. So they're going to say what they need to say, but they're going to be mindful of it because they're daughters. My husband even says, when he's talking about our son and son-in-laws, he takes a different approach to them than when he's talking to our daughters completely. It's really kind of interesting to watch, quite frankly. And it's interesting to watch even with our grandson. Completely different approach than when he's talking to our granddaughters. Completely different. So I've always said, I said that, I understood what Kevin was trying to say. But I also felt that he had a responsibility because of the large audience, because of his reach, to be mindful of he did not know. Okay, be cautious and mindful of the fact that you don't know a person's mental state when they're calling into you. So when people have said that she has spoken down to Black women and she's been disparaging and judgmental, okay, we can go with that. We can go with that. And I think when we do that, we have to be mindful that when we're giving advice, okay, when we're pointing our finger at someone else, three fingers are pointing back at us. So for every piece of advice we give, people are going to be looking at how we're living our life, how we're living our lives. What is the fruit that we are yielding? So her critiques have been a bit harsh and not loving. Because shout out to my nephew Bolo, he says truth without love is a weapon. And when people are calling in, you don't know them, they don't know you. Where is the love? Are they feeling the love? Do they believe the love? Now, here's the thing. Some have accused me of being a little bit too harsh. Now, I don't think I am. But some people are, because sometimes no matter how you say it, their feelings gonna be hurt anyway. But I like to believe that I give truth with love. I like to believe that I give critique with love. I like to believe that I give constructive redirection with love, with the why. Not because of something I read, but because of something I've lived. Because of something I've lived. And that is why I share the things, aspects of my life, because I've been there. I've been there. I've been overly assertive. I've been what some would call masculine. I've been aggressive. I've been all of those things. I've been a baby mama. Check. I've been all those things. So I try not to come off like I know it all, because I clearly don't. I clearly don't. And I think that is some of the backlash that she is getting. Now, I will say to you, I shout out to my niece and little sister, Lucky Maree, my niecey Pooh, and Courtney Michelle. Please hit the like button if you don't mind. One of the things I was surprised by, if Melanie felt that she needed to explain herself, what I told you, I don't think she needed to. She don't know y'all. I was curious as to why she wouldn't have gone to a woman's channel versus men. Now, some may say, well, she thought that she may have more sympathy, and I think she mentioned that most of the criticism she was getting from women. So, with that in mind, if we want compassion, we've got to give some. Got to give some. Now, like I said, these are things I would say to her if I had the opportunity. I think, we've all made mistakes. Hell, y'all have seen many of I made right here. Right here. But when we make these mistakes, those are opportunities for improvement. And there's a reason that things happen the way they do. There was a reason that she decided to have that collaboration, decided to drink with MTR. There's a reason that it has resulted in what we're seeing now. Maybe the reason is for her to do a self-assessment and course correct. Now, I don't know her personally. I don't know her motivations. I don't. But what I do know is that she has a reach. And shout out to Joyce Meyer, the minister, because she says the number of people you can help are the same number of people you can hurt. And I think she's at a crossroads right now. And what I've learned in this social media era, these people are vicious. They've come after me. They've come after my daughter. They tried to dox me. Tried to suggest that maybe I had something to do with Kevin's death. The nerve. People are vicious. Nothing's off limits. So if I know this, I have to be mindful of my surroundings at all times. Like I'm mindful of my surroundings when I'm out in public. What you make sure that I don't have too many cocktails. I have to be mindful of where I take myself in these YouTube streets, as do you, Melanie. Because I'm going to offer this critique as well. And please, okay, let me put it like this. Before I'm not jealous. I'm not envious of how beautiful it is. None of that. None of that. Because with all this happening, I went back and looked at some pictures of myself when I turned 40. And understandably, the styles were somewhat different, but not so much. I think she's given just a little bit too much. And I understand why, because it is appealing to men. But is that what we are suggesting that these young women should do? Because in my fittest, when I was in the military, at my fittest, you understand me, there was just certain things I wasn't going to wear. Even if I could. And I could back then. Because again, what kind of message am I sending? I didn't want everybody's attention. And I understand, my mom used to say, if you got it, flaunt it, because you ain't going to always have it. So if that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing. I get it. But as someone that's 41, who has been married, has children, divorced, trying to rediscover yourself, you are in a unique position. So what example are you wanting to set? Are we wanting to set the example that sex sells? We already know that. Are you wanting to set the example that you want men to lust after you? We already have that too. It's more to you than that. And I'm going to tell you something. I was watching you, I think when you were talking to Tommy Sotomayor. To hear you speak about the things of slavery and the things you study, it is clear to me that you are very intelligent. But one thing I learned, and I guess it goes back to me being in the military, because y'all saw my pictures, I was fine. I knew that my pretty privilege would get me in the door, but I knew it wouldn't keep me there. So I always tried to lead with my intellect versus my appearance, because it was a given. It was a given. And I knew that people would listen to men, particularly men would listen to me largely because I was fine. But I wasn't just a pretty face. And here's the thing, because you are beautiful, you have the opportunity to have the attention, but use your powers for good and not evil. Because see, right now, you're trying to recover from the evil stuff that's happened. You're trying to climb your way out. You're trying to climb your way out. I understand that. I'm not telling you should dress up like a school marm or anything like that, but come on now. Come on now. I'm not suggesting you dress like a school marm. No, I'm not. But come on now, because I'm going to tell you something. What I'm saying is the same thing you're going to be telling your daughters. What you bet? What you bet? How do you know this, TJ? Because I had a daughter. I had a daughter. I'll be damned. She didn't see me with my tits up like this when they could actually be up like that. No. I was measuring her skirts. And so one will say, well, TJ, you the mama. Yeah, I was the mama. So if I wanted to wear short skirts, I could, but I led by example. Hey, you got to lead by example. Lead by example. Because here's another thing. At the time, I'm getting off course. At the time, Kim Kardashian thought it was a good thing to use that sex tape to make money. Until a few years later, she had to explain to her children why she was in it. Lead by example. And what I've learned, for all the attaboys or attagirls you can have in your life, because, the numbers were high, you're getting the super chats, you're getting this, all this, but all the attagirls, for all it takes is one oh shit. Just one. And here we are. Here we are. And I think what is happening, or what I've seen, is the advice that you were trying to give the girl with the blue hair, if you will, is advice that you need to be taking yourself right now. Is advice you need to be taking yourself right now. And I'm going to tell you something. What you need. Now, I know you said you don't really have a lot of girlfriends, but you need at least one good one. At least one good one. At least one. And if you have at least one good one, she's dropped the ball. You need to grow her. Because again, now I understand, like I said, Courtney and Lucky have tried to prevent me from going on some things. I'm going. So I understand that. I understand that. When you feel that you need to explain yourself, but you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. And again, if you're going to explain yourself, do it on your channel. And again, I'm telling you, I made the mistake. But I have far less to lose than you, babe. Far less. Far less. This is a hobby for me. And the coins are cute. That's it. Okay, let's see what else I got. Okay. Now, here's another thing. I just thought about this. Now, I don't know if this was a skit between you and MTR, and that was the intent. But what do we don't throw ourselves at men like that. We don't do that. We don't do that. Mm-mm. We don't know. We don't do that. Especially not for the world to see. And that's where I'm going to say again. If MTR is your friend, he dropped the ball on it because, again, fade to black. We're going to take a commercial break. Because friends don't let friends get drunk in public and make fools of themselves. Now, I don't know MTR. Y'all was having fun. Hey, I'm old school. I'm 51. Oh, no, I'm not. Where am I? I'm tripping. She's 41. I'm 55. I'm 55 and a half. I'll be 56 next month. Honey child. Like I said, this is not about bashing her. I don't agree with a lot of things that she's done. Like I didn't agree with a lot of things that Kevin said. I don't. Because again, truth without love is a weapon. And one of the things I think that would benefit you if you're trying to relate to people, one of the reasons that some people relate to me is that I tell you about my stuff. I tell you about my mental health issues. I tell you about the fact I thought about taking my life. I tell you about the fact that I had a baby out of wedlock. I tell you about the fact that I was not taking my birth control pills like I should have. I tell you about the fact that I was running my relationships and wondering why they weren't working. I tell you about my credit was bad. And I'll tell you about all that. I tell you about the mountains I had to climb. I tell you about how I was harassed. Sexual harassment. I don't tell you all that. Why? Because I want you to know that you ain't by yourself. If you find yourself there, I tell you about how I felt stupid. I tell you about how I waited until I ended up at 50 years old in an abusive relationship, bruised. I tell you all that. Why? I don't tell you because I feel like I have to. I'm telling you because I want to, because I want you to understand. It can happen to anybody. And it has happened to anybody. I brought my daughter on here so she'd tell you the mistakes I made. Some of the stuff I heard for the first time here with y'all because I want y'all to understand. Again, I'm trying to help. And it ain't going to cost you $600 to do it. Now, hey. If that's how you get your coins, that's how you get your coins. Because Kevin was $1,000. I wasn't paying it. I wasn't. I'm like, dude, I know where the bones are buried. How dare you? It's a little joke. So, I ain't going to knock the hustle, but when you put yourself out here on a pedestal, you got to be careful. You got to be careful because people looking for it. People looking. They done tried to come, for me, but hey, I got weapons in every room. I ain't playing with y'all. And I am proficient. Okay. That's pretty much all I have. I'm going to open up the lines if anybody want to come in and give me, say anything. Again, this is not about bashing her at all because this is an opportunity here. And I'm thinking, and what I'm going to recommend to you, if you're listening, please take some time off because I'm going to tell you something. I understand how this stuff can mess up with your mental health. And you have expressed that You went through a period of depression. I get all that. And when they're throwing the fiery darts at you, calling, my Lord, calling you bitches, and I get it. I've been called a few myself. But you got to take a step back. You got to take a step back, and you've got to ask yourself, and this is what I do. I ask myself, when I'm putting something out, whether it be on YouTube, IG, TikTok, would I be okay? Not my daughter, because my daughter grown, but would I be okay with my granddaughter seeing that? Would I be okay with it? Not only what I'm speaking, my countenance, my presentation, what I'm wearing, with my husband. Of course, I think he's at the forefront of my thoughts. But I ask myself, would I be okay with my granddaughter seeing that, or my grandson seeing that? And that's kind of like what I was talking about the other day when I said, I'm not scared of Freaknik. For one, I wasn't there. But two, had I been there, I knew how to conduct myself. Why? Because I learned early. I was not going to be out of control in public. And if I was going to be drunk, I was going to be surrounded by people who was going to make sure I didn't make a fool out of myself. I learned that early. Hey, nephew. Yeah, I just used your words. Truth without love is a weapon. So, this is advice I would tell Melanie. I would say, one, you don't owe these people a damn thing as far as your personal life, having to explain your divorce and cut. You don't owe them a damn thing. A damn thing. Even if what they accuse you of is true, you don't owe them a damn thing. And if you say Kevin was your mentor, he would have said the same thing. You don't owe these people a damn thing. And if you feel that you have to explain yourself, you do it on your show. The only people you owe an explanation to are your family. And because you owe them an explanation at some point, that should be at the forefront of your consciousness with every move you make. Every move you make. And I'm telling you something. I am so glad I went to my OU class reunion, because again, it put things in perspective for me, because life happens outside of YouTube. So I am ever so mindful of how I'm moving, even more so now. Because real life, real consequences. This, honey, you don't owe these people a damn thing. And okay, that's one. Consult your friends before you do things like this. Your family, your close friends. Like I said, you need at least one good girlfriend to say, you out of your damn mind. What are you thinking? What the hell were you thinking? I got a couple. At the end of the day, I'm going to do what I want to do anyway, but I can't say they never tried. Honey, you got too much to lose. Okay. I see Marcus Evans. Hey, Marcus.
Hey, what's up with you?
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm just coming from work, about to get my food.
Okay. What you got?
Yeah. I didn't really watch the whole thing, what you were saying, but I'm pretty sure you was giving advice about Melody King and all that, about the whole situation. It is a bad, I ain't gonna lie, it is a bad look. I will say that. But people have done worse. You know what I'm saying? But for her to be a figure in these YouTube spaces and all that, she does need to be mindful of what she puts out, because people will use that against her, and
Yes.
we're seeing it on display. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like to me, I think she's a dope content creator and all that, and she's very important and all, but she does need to be careful what she do.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things, like I said, I think one of the reasons she's getting some backlash again is that people are, particularly women, Black women, are stating that she has shown no compassion to women, to Black women. So why should we show her some? That she's coming out very judgmental and very condemning. And so in that case, we have to be, if we're expecting compassion, we've got to give some. And, I will say too, a lot of times, truth does hurt. And sometimes you can say it nicely, and sometimes we Black women, we still don't want to hear it. And that's a fact.
But I agree with you, but this is and I'm glad you brought that up, because this is the thing that kills me about this, right? And I'm not saying this is all Black women, but from you being an old, I don't want to, an elderly woman.
I'm seasoned.
I'll say a seasoned woman. I'll say that, a seasoned woman. Okay. A seasoned woman. Why from your perspective, why women don't like hearing the harsh truth? Like why? Like even if it's because I feel like women are so used to hearing like the teddy bear, the nice truth, but they don't want to hear. But when it comes to the nitty gritty, the nitty gritty truth, they'll dismiss it or move the goalposts, or they'll drift it to something else, or you know what I'm saying? Like why is that from your perspective? From what you've seen, like why is that?
Well, I can't say why in general, but I can say why I did.
Okay.
A lot of times it comes from our own feelings of inadequacy. That's what it was for me.
Okay.
And to combat my own feelings of inadequacy, I will go even harder to prove you wrong.
But doesn't that mean that you lost it by doing that?
Absolutely it did.
Okay.
Absolutely it did. But you couldn't convince me of that at the time. That's why I'm here telling women it is okay to be wrong.
But
it is okay. It's okay to be wrong, because no one gets it right all the time. It's okay. I think one of the challenges is sometimes we're not sure if someone is telling us because they really care and want us to be better, or if they're telling us to shit on us. So sometimes because we're not sure, that's when that guard comes up. And that goes back to, again, our own feelings of inadequacy in certain things.
I mean, okay. Okay, fine. That's good. That's a good point. But I have a hard time, because this is my thing with women. I feel like y'all know the difference between someone's telling the truth or when people are shitting on y'all. I think y'all know the difference, but all right, I can tell you that, like, I could be like, all right, let's say you and I were friends, right? And I'm gonna tell you something about you that you may not like, but then you're gonna act like you don't know, but then you're gonna like, oh, you're just shitting on me. But deep down in the back of your mind, you know that I'm telling the truth. Like, I don't understand what's wrong with that. Like sometimes sometimes the ugly truth needs to be told.
Well, the first response is usually one of a defense. Usually the first response is that. I mean, I've been guilty of it myself. And then after I get over myself and I think about it, I come back and say, well, you were right. But the first response is usually one of defense. It is. And I think, since we're talking about Millie, I think that's what she's dealing with right now as well. What she has said about other young women, she finds herself there herself right now. Because I'm saying I was looking at some of her explanations of some of the videos, you know, the responses, and she was explaining or justifying why it was a good idea to do a twerk, or you know, again, justifying why it was, even though it was a half twerk. But again, the same thing that many women do are justifying why it's a good idea to do whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I was like, Melanie, no. I mean, she's still dope, but it's just like, come on, Melanie, like really, like, you know.
Well, she made a mistake. I mean, she made a mistake. We've all made them. You know, we've all made them. And I think, like I said, I mean, I don't know MTR, but I'm just going to say it, and I mean it. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, that wasn't he wasn't a friend in that respect, because there's no way. In my opinion, and again, I'm saying this because if I am out with my friends, like I just said, you may not have heard it, even when I was on the yard at OU, when I was young, you know, at the club or whatever, my friends and my male friends would not allow me to make a fool of myself.
You know what? I mean, okay. You know what? Now, all right. You know what? I'm half and half with you on it, but I see you respect it, because when she was saying all that, like the whole kiss me part, that could have been they shut the camera off or something. So
that's what I said.
But MTR, I mean, you can kind of say I'm defending him in a way, but to his credit, he did not do it though. But respectfully, I do see where you're coming from. So I'm like, okay.
Well, and again, I understand it was for entertainment, but I'm saying
some things got to be separate. Like you can't.
At some point, when it seemed to be going in a direction
too far,
I think because they are both content creators, they both have large followings, and again, at some point, if I am your friend, I'll give you an example. Shout out to E Black, shout out to Chef Shapino. When I went to Houston last year, when they did the
Little Peep joint
experience, yes. Okay. That was my first time meeting them in person, but we had a friendship and communication. They took care of me.
How was it?
They took care of me. You know, I had a cocktail here, but again, they were watching out for me and to ensure that I was safe, and so that's what I'm talking about. And again, I know he was drinking as well. But at some point, when it seemed like it was getting just a little bit too lax, again, when you have thousands of people watching, and I'm going to say, I just don't think, again, both of them talk about how Kevin was their mentor. And so I know Kevin wouldn't have done that. He wouldn't.
I agree.
If I can listen, y'all done saw my pictures. I ain't playing like I knew him. And we talked about, we had our stories, our memories of him this past weekend. I know him. He wouldn't have done that. He would have advised hell to the no.
Right.
But
so
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think what happens though is because there are people who have larger platforms, sometimes they don't think that they need to listen to other people.
The ego talk, the ego. Yeah. Yeah.
Because again, like I said, and they people are grown. You can advise them and they still do what they want to do. Again, I have a grown daughter. But you ain't gonna listen. You ain't gonna be able to say I didn't try to stop you. You ain't gonna be able to say that, because I came on here and said, you know, there are times Courtney and Lucky said, "Don't do that. Don't call in," and I call in anyway. And I say they told me not to call in, but I did.
Look, listen. I saw the whole thing and I'm like, TJ, no. I'm like, come on, man. I was like, God damn. Like, why would you do that? Yes. So I get it. Yes.
But I say they tried to tell me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I
So
think,
what? So
go ahead, sweetheart. Go ahead.
well, what do you think she should do moving forward? Because there's a lot of videos about this whole situation. So do you think she should like stop making content for a while and then make a statement like, "Yo, I'm sorry,"
Well, I definitely
if
don't think.
if if you was on her team, what would you advise her to do?
I
If you
would
was
tell
her
her,
friend.
first of all, if you're listening, Melanie, because like I said, I've been on her show a couple of times and we bantered
Mm-hmm.
back and forth. I would
Mm-hmm.
say, do not. Hold on a second. If she, hold on
I'm
a
sorry. I
second.
mean, mm-hmm.
Do not go on anybody else's show to explain yourself. Do not. Do not. If you feel that you need to explain yourself, do it on your own channel. But if you feel you need to explain yourself, ask yourself why and what will it benefit you to do it.
Yeah,
If,
what's up?
if it does not benefit you anything to do it, don't. Let it ride. And what you do now is recalibrate.
You by yourself? You
Think
by yourself?
about your approach going forward. If you think if you still want to have that tough love approach that some people call condescending,
Mm-hmm.
and if that's the approach you want to have, just be prepared for what comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
But do not, don't do that again. And I'm like I said, I'm coming from a place I understand wanting to explain yourself,
Mm-hmm.
but that comes with the belief that people actually care about your side. People really don't. Why? Because it's not as juicy. It's not as juicy as opposed to what we create in our mind. So that's what I would advise her. Lay low for about a week.
Yeah.
Lay low for about a week. Also, go to your therapist. Unload.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you from experience, I didn't have to do it.
Mm.
Unload. Hug your girls. Look into their eyeballs. And continue to think what you want for them. Because one thing I will say, all the stuff I did, and that's why I get misty even to this day, and my daughter's about to be 29. Everything I did, and I didn't do everything right, but everything I did was for her. Everything. And when I stepped out and put my uniform on, when I stepped out, I wanted her to look at her mother, to know her mother was about that action. And that she still knows to this day. Now, sometimes it served me well, sometimes it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing my daughter knew about me, I grinded to make sure she had a life. I was a lady. I conducted business. My reputation was beyond reproach. And she knew if somebody tried to tell her some foolishness about her mom, she knew better because of how I carried myself.
Mm-hmm.
And
Character.
now I have the mantle. I have a granddaughter now. I have granddaughters.
Congrats.
I know. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and drop you down, sweetheart, because I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. But thank you for calling in.
Thank you. Keep up the great work.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. Let me tell you something, honey. Let me go and look at a couple comments. Well, that remains to be seen. And I said it remains to be seen because I've gone to therapy off and on for a few years. And I haven't gone last year because I haven't needed to. But there are times when certain situations, and I think that's important. Since you brought that up, I think it's important to go ahead and say that there are times that, because I have a diagnosed mental health condition, I have major depressive disorder and anxiety. So the ebb and flow of my life, sometimes I have to go to therapy more frequently, and sometimes I don't. So depending on what her situation is, there are certain situations in life that you may need to talk to somebody. It's not your family or your friends. So, that remains to be seen. But again, that's part of the vulnerability and transparency part, because see, I don't care. You can't use my words against me because I'm like, yeah, I said it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said it. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have. I apologize. But yeah, I said it. So I'm open. You understand me? I'm open. Well, we shall see. I like I said, I hope that if she has some good people in her corner, that they are telling her, stop it. Because here's the thing, Melanie, you are 41, not 31, not 21. You're 41. We move different. Oh, we should move differently once we cross that threshold of 40. We must. Even though you look 30, look 20, you're not. We have to move differently because we are charting the course for those who come behind us. And again, I keep going. I think, again, it's serendipitous that I come off the weekend of my OU reunion and my Delta reunion, because sitting with these people, men and women, talking about the impact that I had on them, for the people who came behind me. Again, because I realized that my responsibility is more than just to myself. I realized that years ago, way before YouTube. Again, I realize that, and I think that is why I get so emotional, because I still think that way. I think that maybe I'm a dinosaur because everybody else is all about them, but I've never been that way. And sometimes it has served me, it's been a disservice to me because I care a lot. I want people to be better than me. I've had young women I've mentored in the federal government who've surpassed me in my career. To me, that's still an accomplishment for me because I poured into them. Because again, I realize my responsibility is greater than to myself. No, she said she's 41. Greetings, sir. I think this is the first time I've had you on. Can you hear me?
Hi, hold on. I didn't know I was on so quick. Oh boy, that's bad time. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Oh, good. I can hear you now. So, thank you so much. I said I wouldn't come online for a little bit longer, but this needs to be said. So there's two separate things that two different groups see two separate things. One, I know she's very concerned from what I've been watching of this doxing problem that occurred with another particular channel,
Mm-hmm.
grilling and going into her private business and showing it online.
Mm-hmm.
That's one concern. And then there's a group that is also concerned about the way things occurred. So dealing with the way things occurred, people are pointing a finger at her. And that's an individual's first reaction. But really, if you take who she really is, and her in that situation, something happened. Now we know that being inebriated, I believe it's pronounced, can loosen you up.
Yeah.
But this is a situation where she has to swim in a sea of sharks every day with men, constantly coming at her one way or another. So she thought she met a guppy, and this guppy got clout, credibility by knowing someone she trusted very much, which was Mr. Kevin Samuels. So he knew well enough not to say things that would identify what his true personality is.
Hmm.
But if when you have a chance and I'm a man, I'm not going to give up all the secrets. I'm not going to do that to the brothers per se. But in her particular situation, his credibility and trust blinded what he was doing.
Hmm.
With the arm reaching over to use the mouse, like it was 9 miles away, the little incidental touching. And I could see how she seemed to be a little bit uncomfortable about it, but just kind of brushed it off as, he is his credibility because of Kevin. Maybe I can, I can trust him. But at the same time, like you said, he's allowing her to drink as much alcohol as she wants to drink. Now, but he's never saying anything that would be necessarily inappropriate. As a matter of fact, constantly denying it and allowing her to lead with certain things, knowing and she's doing it for content, but at the same time, he's feeding and playing on that. So this,
Yes, I agree, but here's another thing though. What I looked at, I think that, and again, I could be wrong. I think that they had devised certain questions they were going to ask each other prior to, and I think so they had that in mind. But in my opinion, once people started to get a little bit saucy and getting a little bit close and in the fit, that's when it needed to fade to black, in my opinion.
yeah, well, I mean, when you say that, we're talking about, you're going to play a game called Truth or Dare, or we used to play a game called the Hot Seat. It's similarly to the hot seat, right? You get asked a question, you either have to answer the question or you take a drink. So these questions were composed to get you to actually drink, because you're not going to necessarily say that because you're on YouTube in front of your public audience. So okay, I'll drink, I'll drink, I'll drink, and so forth. But it's not blaming it at all on necessarily on the alcohol. As a man, what you want, what as a man, as any black man, what we
Mm-hmm.
fight every day is a woman's guards being up. All the alcohol did, all that alcohol does is help you low. It helps you. It stops you from resisting keeping your guards up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the credibility of association trust allowed things to look a little bit out of hand. But there was something else that was mentioned during one of the lives, and that was this. What is it called? A MVA or a
Oh,
DV?
an NDA, non-disclosure agreement.
Yes,
Mm-hmm,
that was
mm-hmm,
brought up.
mm-hmm.
So, there was some tactics going on. I'm an older man. I can smell that stuff out. When I told you, I mean, not told you, when I wrote in there the number of phone numbers I collected over the years as a young man, I didn't even know, because I went completely cold turkey on that. But the whole thing was that I found all of that stuff, and I was like, oh my God, I had these many phone numbers. What was I doing? It doesn't mean I was collecting bodies or anything. It just
Right.
means
Yeah.
that, there was a lot of phone numbers. I mean, like thick.
That's how we did it.
And it's like, but as a young man, that's what you live for.
I have two brothers. Yes, I know.
Okay. So going cold turkey helps, because you force yourself to settle down.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to bring up that particular point, because I think people are looking at her, and she was trying to defend her honor, but that trust, that association trust, got in the way. If it had been anyone else, that little arm reach would have never have occurred. At least she would have nipped that in the bud. But she had to trust him, so it looked like she was all good with all that. It's a subtle game.
It's tough. It is tough. I think, like I said, I'm not. Let me look at a couple of comments here, because someone said, hold on, let me get here just a second. Okay. Absolutely. Here's the thing, though. We all judge. That's. But the only person who has the power to condemn is God. We all judge. Judging is an assessment, because they have judges for gymnastics. They have judges for talent shows. They have judges because they're making an evaluation. They're making an assessment of what they've seen. But we don't have the power or the authority to condemn. Now, there are some who are trying to condemn her.
Yeah,
there are some trying to condemn her.
That's just a man that didn't want anybody to hear the game. It's all about disarming a woman.
And here's the thing. You said something which is very
and
true.
That was textbook.
Like I said, it's interesting to me, because I definitely give her credit for, but what my point is, again, she does not have to explain herself, especially with respect to her personal life, with respect to her divorce, she doesn't have to explain that to anybody. Only person that deserves an explanation would be her family. And the fact that, she tried to do it and that, I understand, I've done that. But I'm saying to her, if I had the opportunity, don't do it again. Because they don't care. No one cares about your position. And it's sad to say, but I know that, because I've tried to explain my position and no one cares. And if you feel that you do need to do it in a place that is comfortable and welcoming and secure for you. Because going on to those other people's show, they have no vested interest in your outcome at all. None. And they will just exploit you too. Yeah, I said it. And this is not about, like I said, I was not going to bash her. That's not what this is about. I
No,
don't agree with some
absolutely
of the
not.
things she did, but I'm not going to bash her. Has she made some mistakes? Are her critiques a little bit harsh and insensitive? Yeah, I do. I think so sometimes, just like Kevin's were. And I said that, but that's not. But again, this is an opportunity to learn, because that's what God has a way of humbling us, and that's for real. God has a way of humbling us. And maybe this is part of it.
You
Hold on just a
know,
moment.
while you're saying that, my best church days that were behind me, the pastor, he didn't sugarcoat anything with us.
Hmm.
He called it what it was. And if it was you, you had to confess it. And there wasn't no sugarcoating about it. And thinking long and hard about it, when that approach, I know Kevin had a no holds barred approach, but some people do need their hands held and want their hands held. I'll put it that way. Not need, but want their hands held. And some people just need to say, look at themselves and say, is this the me that I want to be?
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how slow you have to start, you got to start. And when you sugarcoat something, it makes it's almost like what's that word? Not validate, not enforce. It's something between, somewhere in between there. It's almost enabling the way
Mm-hmm.
that person is. And
Mm-hmm.
when you give it to them, straight, no chaser, you cut all that enabling out. You're letting them know this is where you need to be. This is where you need to get the heck up out of.
Yes.
I mean, when the building is on fire, you don't go, excuse me, hey everybody, I know you're sleeping. You might, if you don't mind, I want everybody to leave because the building's on fire and you could burn down inside of it. No. You say, get the hell out of here. This thing is burning up. I'm gone. Boom.
Yeah. But I'm reminded of something.
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking about a young lady who I mentored, whose career surpassed mine since I've retired.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw her I was at Fort Myer, I saw this young woman, and this is why I think it's very important, because again, shout out to Bolo, truth without love is a weapon. I remember seeing this young woman, and she was given a briefing for retirement briefing for military people who were getting ready to transition, high-ranking people coming from the Pentagon. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember looking at her, and I'm thinking, she's so smart and she's got all this to say, but she was dressed in such a way that they were not going to be listening to her because her stuff was too tight, her skirt was too short.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at her, I'm thinking, this is not. But if I would have came at her just off of that, she would have shut me down immediately. Because, like, who are you to talk? But I had to ease it in, because again, when you're people calling in, they don't know you and you're giving advice. But again, I didn't come out the gate saying, what the hell are you wearing? They're not taking you seriously. You look like. I didn't do that. I started slowly. Within a couple of weeks, I made a suggestion, because again, I didn't know her. And she didn't know what my motives were. She could have thought, this is some old bitch just trying to tell me what to do. And that's what we have here. We have that here because, see, you and I come from a time, and Kevin too. Kevin was 2 years younger than me. We came from a time where there was no sugarcoating. I wouldn't say there was, my grandfather wasn't mean, but there was no sugarcoating. My grandfather didn't even tell my mom that he loved them because that's how he grew up in 1910, but they knew he did. Now you have to be.
You have
kind
to.
of gentler.
You do?
You do.
Oh my goodness.
You do. And sometimes they still don't like it. But
wow.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Because they're like sensitive these days.
You know, you and I have something in common. And it's and I want you to keep it a secret. I do. You have to. You'll understand, okay?
Okay.
And so I'm just going to give you the clue. And the clue is freedom's front door.
Okie dokie.
So you understand good.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm not going to hold up your show, but I wanted to point those things out because my intuition something just made me a little bit uncomfortable about the young man. He's not a bad young man. It's not what I'm trying to say.
Right.
But as a man, if I were around him, I would be on guard at all times. Because something's going to come out of the woodwork. That's how I feel.
I just am a little bit cautious. I'm a little bit cautious when people, and I'm not saying it's him, but when people can't apologize for certain things.
That needs to happen. Out of respect.
I'm a little bit cautious when people can't apologize because again, it's, I always go to my military experience and I'm grateful for my military mentors because they said the best thing that a leader can do is admit when they're wrong.
Yes. And in this instance, just because Miss King is older does not excuse his actions, his part.
Yeah. And again, I think, like I said, I think in theory, it was a good idea for the collaboration. The execution did not go well, in my opinion. Because here's the thing, I'm sorry. Those kind of games, Truth or Dare, the hot seat, those things I played in my 20s. I damn sure was not going to play it for everybody in the world to see. What?
Yeah, it could have gone down. It could have been toned down a notch in terms of every question beginning with the phrase or clause "would you," rather than do this or have you, would you do this or have you done this, or but they chose the questions. But see, the thing again, there was some unbiased trust given.
Well, yeah. And we want to
those
have
questions to occur.
I mean, and again, we don't know the relationship, the friendship that they have forged, and maybe in light of that, there was a certain comfort level because we do want to believe that we can be comfortable around our friends. But again, in my mind, in my 55-year-old mind, I'm always mindful that people are watching me. And before I let you go, I'm gonna tell you this one thing, and I want y'all to hear me now. As a young second lieutenant, my boss, shout out to General Price. He was a general, black general. At the time, he was a major. He told me Lieutenant, I'm going to have to advise you a little bit differently than I advise some of my other soldiers, and I'm going to tell you why. And he explained to me why. He said he took a stapler and put it on his desk. He said, Lieutenant, this is not a stapler. And I'm looking at it, ain't? He said, no, this is not a stapler. He said, I want you to understand that this is a weapon. And I want you to understand that this weapon is always pointed at you. It is your job to ensure that you never give anybody any ammunition to put in the weapon that is always pointed at you. Do you understand me, Lieutenant? Yes, sir.
A general told you that?
Huh?
A general told you that?
At the time, he was a major, but he went on to become a general. Yes.
Yeah,
he was my first boss as a young lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
I never forgot it.
Mm-hmm.
I never forgot it. So in these YouTube, in the world, and especially now everybody got a camera. And again, we fall, we slip, we do.
Mm-hmm.
We slip.
Yep.
I've slipped.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always mindful of General Price's words to me when I was a young lieutenant. Always be mindful that a weapon is pointed at you. Never give anybody the ammunition to put in the weapon that is pointed at you. That was in 1999. He told me that. I remember
and it
that.
still applies today. You better believe it. Yeah.
Yes.
Those were those were some great words that are book worthy.
Yes. So that's all I'm saying. Again, I'm not trying to condemn her. We've all made mistakes, but young lady, and I say young lady because you're younger than me. If you're going to take this mantle and seek to do good with it, because if you say that you want our Black women to be with Black men and you want our Black women to be better, you at this moment, you got to decide how you're going to do that. Because apparently the way you were doing it before was not the best way. And because of that, it's coming back to bite you in the ass right now when you want compassion. Because people said that you were not giving any.
Okay, because of the way people are, the way the younger generation is built. They expect some compassion.
It
they
is.
expect some enabling of their...
I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't understand it. And I'm going to tell you something, Black Lexicon. I learned it from my daughter. Because, again, I'm operating from the premise of, well, when I was your age and this is how my mom... That's not them. That's not them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not them. That is not them. They tune you completely out. Completely. It's not them. So what I'm learning, you have to meet people where they are. And again, and sometimes they're gonna get it and sometimes they won't. And then when they won't, I'm gonna move around. I'm not gonna keep talking to you about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna keep talking to you about the same thing. I'll try to meet you where you are. See if you're receptive to what if you picking up what I'm putting down. And if you're not, I'm gonna move around. But everything is not meant for public consumption. And if someone wants to meet and I've had consultations with people, and people said, maybe I should charge, maybe I should, but I haven't. That's not why I'm here.
Yeah, it was contrary. There were some things during the first broadcast that were contrary to what she stands on, and how Melanie has helped a lot of individuals. And I think that we know that. Mm-hmm. And I think that what bothered people the most is that they did not understand, not necessarily that happened, but they did not understand why and how it happened. They want to know why and how. And my explanation is reasoning for that is trust by association. And obviously that trust was broken because, like you said, he protected himself from his audience, but he didn't protect her as a man being a protector from her audience. And is actually using it to produce more videos, clips about it.
I give you an example. See, you made me think of something. Picture it.
Mm-hmm.
The year is 1993.
Mm-hmm.
I'm drunk off my ass, I thought. But what was happening was I was pregnant and didn't know it. My brother from another mother, him and his, because he was in the Marine Corps,
Mm-hmm.
they took care of me and got me out of there. They was not going to let nothing happen to me. They was not going to let me succumb to whatever, influences that were there. And again, there was no social media, but again, they saw that and the reason why, because I only had like one drink,
Mm-hmm.
but they saw I was fading fast.
Uh-huh.
They said, no, we got to get you to the car.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's my daughter's godfather. He saw me fading fast. He knew me. He said, no. But again, that Marine Corps, he took that off seriously. They took care of me and got me out of there. They were not going to have me in a position to make a fool of myself and do something stupid. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. Okay, here we go. Check this out.
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
See what I said about that her being older?
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm a mature man. I know better. But I'm a man. And a man, if a man is a man, it doesn't matter what his age is. If he's over 30, he should know better. If he was raised right,
that part,
he would know better.
And here's the thing. And listen, whoever you are, when I'm talking about my story that goes back over 29 years, we hadn't gone back that far either. But again, the core of who he was and his friends were, no, it wasn't his responsibility to protect me, but he did. He did. Why? Because he said he was my friend. And he was my friend. And when it came time to show that he was my friend, he showed it by how he took care of me when he didn't have to. So I don't know what kind of friends you got.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem.
Yeah. And see, that's, that is, I mean, that's the type of stuff that myself, those are the kind of men I have to protect myself from also. Not just women protect themselves from men like that, but I have to protect myself from men like that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. They'll call you their friend while they're trying to decide which knife they want to use to stab you in the back with.
Shout out to my niecey Pooh, Lucky Marie, because I told her, and I had no problem. I said, a person who truly cares about you will offer you sage counsel. They will offer you advice. They will offer you love, and they want nothing in return but just to see you succeed. That's all they want.
Yeah.
They want nothing from you. They don't want no views. They don't want they just want to see you succeed. And that is how you know somebody is truly about you. So again, I am not, yes, she's a mature woman, but it was clear to me
Mhm.
that she was getting tipsy.
Tipsy?
Tipsy.
Yeah.
I'll say mellow.
Okay. Yeah, mellow. Yeah.
That's what my mom used to say, mellow.
Mm-hmm.
Not drunk, but mellow. It was clear
Mm-hmm.
to me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I am your friend, whether you're male or female, and if I see your behavior starting to go in a direction that is not going to be beneficial to you,
Mm-hmm.
whether we at the club, whether we at a restaurant, whether we on IG, what I am going to, because I'm your friend, and I would hope that you would do the same for me. That's what I'm going to do. That's me. I don't know what kind of friends y'all got.
Yeah, yeah, you know, I mean, yeah, and really, really honestly, married friends, married friends drink together. Single friends really don't, because we
Hmm.
know that boundaries can get blurred and crossed. So most women aren't gonna do that or put themselves in that situation where they're gonna drink and allow themselves to become vulnerable.
Let me tell you
And I
something.
mean,
Go ahead. I'm
you
sorry.
know, yeah, I mean,
Go ahead.
I'm not saying that that is what occurred. I'm just saying is that when you involve alcohol, you know, me personally, I know individuals think that every black man in America, as a young boy, used alcohol to get him a little bit. I never had to use a drug or alcohol in my life. My words are my drug and alcohol.
Hey.
You know what I'm
Hey.
saying? You know, I didn't. If there was any drinking or uh, uh, or drugs involved, we had already crossed the line of demarcation.
Hmm.
But it's that's an old thing that, you know, and I hate to see that. It shows me how weak a man is when he has to use drugs and he has to use alcohol to get a woman to drop her guard down. He's a weak man because he really has no game.
And without knowing it, I won't go out and say that that was the intention, but I will say that's where it ended up. And I will say that, like I said the other day, again, I guess I learned these things early on because, again, I shared at 19 when I just got out of basic training, having left that controlled environment and going to my AIT, advanced individual training. I was so excited to have some freedom. You know, some soldiers, we got a hotel, we just drank, and I woke up and did not know what happened the night before. And I said,
And
to
you were
this
concerned.
day,
Yeah.
to this day, I don't know if something went down. I don't remember. And that was the moment I said, I'll never do it again. I said, I will never be that out of control of my faculties. And I said that if I am drinking, I'm going to ensure that I have my family or my close friends to make sure I don't make a fool out of myself and do something I regret.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned that real quick.
Yeah, and you know, I'm gonna tell you something else too that I learned, that I grew up learning too, is that I can't engage romantically with uh, a woman that is inebriated or over inebriated
Mm-hmm.
no more than I can engage with a dead body.
Mm. That's yeah.
You know, I mean, you got to have your faculties about you because you're not in the state of mind to give me the type of psychological pleasure that I require.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, we're you know, it's there's if there's no connection psychologically in the situation, I ain't there.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
And
it's you know, I'm not the perfect man by no means. I just don't know how a man can carry out and act like that when a woman is inebriated, unless that's your wife. You know,
yeah, yeah.
so, yeah,
Yeah, I'm laughing because
that's
Mr.
that's
Randolph, Mr. Randolph said, he said, "Go, you have another glass of wine?"
unless it's your wife. You know what I mean? But other than that, and you know, like you said, you woke up the next morning and didn't know what the heck happened. Now, I want you to remember me, okay?
Facts. Facts. And again, I don't, we don't know, I don't think it went there. I think all in all, why I wanted to do this is, like I said, what I would say to Melanie if I had the opportunity,
Mhm.
is you don't owe anybody any explanation with respect to your personal life, your divorce, your custody, none of that. Your channel, none of that.
Mhm.
You don't know anybody responsibility with respect to your plastic surgery. If that's what you wanted to do, you did it. You did it. What's never your reason? If you feel that you want to explain something to someone, do it on your channel where you know it is a safe environment. A safe environment.
Mhm.
And also quit going to these shows. And again, if Kevin, you said Kevin was your mentor, you know Kevin wouldn't have done that. You know Kevin wouldn't be, he didn't give a damn. He didn't give a damn what I said, and I knew it. So he sure wouldn't give a damn what other people said it didn't. Neither should you. I'm not saying I agree with everything you said and done. No. But you don't have to go out on a campaign to explain yourself to people who
Yeah,
don't care about you no damn way.
right. Yeah, and you know, and we understand that. We know that whoever the confidant was, they aren't there right now for her because the confidant would have said, uh, would have, you know, don't. I don't. You know, I didn't see, like you said, I didn't see a reason to have to necessarily explain things right away. To try to explain things right away, let the dust settle,
Yes.
and then, you know, if necessary, address it.
Yes.
You know, and but I don't fault that she did make those particular choices. I think that from what I've been seeing, I think that a little bit more. I would advise a little bit more preparation on her part. You know, to
Definitely.
first over, you know, to first get past the emotional shock of all of this monkey business,
Yes.
and then you know, because she is a super intelligent lady.
She is.
She really, I mean,
She
you
is.
know, she is a light skinned Oprah Winfrey as far as I'm concerned.
She's very intelligent.
Hmm.
And again, it's interesting because again, when she was talking to Tommy Sotomayor and she was talking about, I think he asked her what Pearl said or whatever, when she started to explain, it was like the light switch went on. It was like she was giving a class. Very articulate, very smart.
Yeah.
So with that stated, that's what I want her to focus on.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Absolutely.
That's what I would like her to focus on.
I mean, you know, and she is a gift if to this so-called manosphere, as they put it. Absolutely gift. She's one of them. And there's a few others, females. So all this, should women be in a manosphere? And look, men get tired being around hard legs all day. So keep it real,
Yes.
you know. And if you got a women who want to have the conversation with you, and they can agree, they can disagree, they can agree. They're not just 100% disagreeing. They're understanding your points and things of that nature. That's the way it should be. I mean, you build a community that way.
It does require balance, though. It does require balance because, see, again, I will say what we do wrong because I did it.
Mm-hmm.
But by the same token, I'm not going to sit up here and say that men have no culpability because they do. There has to be balance.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in many instances, she offers no balance. Now, again, I have no problem telling men what they want to hear. See, my thing is, I'm for what's right. I don't care who says it. I don't care who says it.
Mm-hmm.
I want, like I said, I want every woman who wants to be married to have the opportunity to learn from the things that I messed up, and hopefully you learn them quicker.
Mm-hmm.
I want that for you if that's what you want.
You know, as far as that balance goes, so before she took a sabbatical,
Mm-hmm.
it was like that.
Okay.
But when she came back from her sabbatical, she became more compassionate. She just hasn't been doing those as many of her live shows as she was doing before. But she
Okay.
was very compassionate to some degree when she was on live. But when she does a reaction, she ain't cutting the chase on nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when
You know,
she's
you make a
live,
good point because when I called into her show that first time, there was a young lady who called in who basically had been through a lot of stuff.
mm-hmm.
And we both said that she probably should go to the military to get. So I do remember that. So you're right. She did because this young lady needed some direction,
Mm-hmm.
and she offered that.
Mm-hmm.
She did offer that.
And you know, then everyone took her performance during the London show and just wiped out all that compassion that she was doing. I mean, you know, you're on a big platform, and when you take that Fresh platform, and when you take the Tate platform, all those foreign platforms, they all do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're on there being Miss Nice Lady, they ain't gonna listen. So she had to slap him around a little bit because that's what they used to. That's exactly what that is the
Well,
way.
they listen to Maggie, and Maggie is very nice, and they listen to her.
You know, I think we're confusing the European generation of respecting their elders, their older people. And you know they love their older people over there. If you've been to Germany and you've seen the German parks, have you?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh. They treat old people like they're royalty.
But Maggie is only 46.
But she looks like she could be a grandmother.
Okay.
And I think that they give her that respect that Americans, young youth, don't give that respect to the older generation like that.
Okay. I can agree with that.
You know, is there a park here in America you can go to and breathe in eucalyptus mist?
No.
Of course not.
No.
Because they don't give a squat about the elderly. If they could put all the elderly people on a spaceship and send them to Mars, it's exactly what they would do. But Europe is different. Europe doesn't tear a building down because it's old. You know that. They've got buildings 900 plus years old. And most people listening who haven't been over there that are listening right now, they don't even know what it's like to touch a building that's 900 years old. And it looks just like a building that you see today. And you're thinking, How is this building still standing like this? Because they believe in age makes things more valuable. Here, we are taught or influenced to believe that age destroys things.
Newer is better.
Yeah,
Younger is better.
and newer is cheaper.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so but I attribute that to a good portion of that population's youth respecting the elders that are in the population and the population of youth in America disrespecting themselves. So that's what I give Maggie's success to. Now, Auntie J,
Mm-hmm.
Auntie J, the lady
Oh,
named, she's no poet. She's no what's some of our famous poets' names?
Maya Angelou,
Yeah,
Nikki
she's no Maya
Giovanni.
Angelou. She's no Maya Angelou. She gonna tell them straight to the cut.
Yeah, she's called me a few choice words, even though she and I have never had a conversation.
Well, believe she talks to the girls that way too. Okay, no matter what their age is. But what I'm saying is that that's their style and approach. The men do the same. Here and what you got here when you do that, they want to get out. They want to fight you. You know, they want to get into a fight with you. If you notice, even the one in the blue with the blue hair, the blueberry hair, and
Mm-hmm.
the other girl, they didn't get in. They didn't throw off that physical energy like they do here. They go from
True.
0 to 100 here.
That's very
There,
true.
they'll walk with you to get there before they get there and have the discussion. So the blueberry girl still carried on the discussion. She didn't get ghetto about it because she didn't get into her feelings about what Melanie said to her, nor did the other girl get into her feelings. And when the end met the end, they agreed with her.
Mm-hmm.
Here, what
Yeah.
she runs into is vicious, a vicious, responsive retaliation, men and women, and in the chat.
Yeah.
You know,
So that's why I say, in my opinion, given that, if you know this to be true, do not give anybody ammunition to put in a weapon that is pointed at you. That's what I
okay,
say.
here, yeah.
If you know this.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to what I think she can recover from this. I think she will recover from this. I think what people are asking, and again, it's up to her to give. I mean, she knows her motivations for being here. People are asking for more of her. Who is she? Who are you? And
Mm-hmm.
that's her choice to decide if she wants to share that or not. Um, I think she can recover from this. I think that she will recover from this. I think there's a reason that it happened now. I don't know that reason, but I think there is a reason that it happened now because everything that has happened in my life, good as well as bad, there was a lesson I needed to get out of it. Even when I got my ass whipped by that guy, there was a lesson I needed to get out of it. Even though it was very painful at the time. That's what's happening here. And there's a lesson to be learned. And she will learn it. I pray that she does. Again, I'm not casting any aspersions on MTO. I don't know him. I don't know his motivation. I just think how I would have wanted a friend to cover me.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how I would cover a friend. And here's the thing, there are many people that I've come to know in this YouTube space, and we started because YouTube is what brought us together. But the relationship we had off of YouTube is what has kept us together as friends. So that's what I would have liked to see. Do I think there was any malintent on his part? I do not. I do not. I just think, again, that's what I would have hoped that he would have done. I think that had he had a sister, I think that that's what he would have hoped for his sister.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't disagree with you. I just know that there is no mature foresight in him right now.
Okay.
I can speak on these things because I've already made the mistakes.
You're a man. Y'all men
But
know men.
there was no mature foresight. I mean, look, okay, so I'm gonna give you an example of something that I have to deal with, that I may have to deal with. Okay, let's put it that way.
Okay.
So, say for whatever reason, and this doesn't cease to happen. Say for whatever reason, a married lady takes a curiosity towards
A what?
a married lady, a married
Okay.
woman,
So the what? A curiosity tour.
toward me,
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
towards
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Now, based on the example that was given by someone in the chat, I should just kick back in the cut and let her do whatever it is she wants to do. And it's her fault, right? So if she wants to uh, slip out or slip into a hotel with me and we accidentally fall in bed together, then that's her fault, right?
Or yeah.
That's what someone thinks. But no,
Mm-hmm.
as a mature man, I am going to protect her even from herself because I know that the mature foresight says you would destroy your husband. And I'm still gonna be me. And you know what? Thank you so much. I appreciate the validation. But we could still communicate and you could still like me for who I am, but it doesn't have to interfere with your love for your husband, your marriage.
Mm,
I'm not going to give her ammunition to shoot herself with.
okay. Now, part of it would be her fault, for sure.
No. I mean,
Yes.
no. And the reason I'm saying no is this.
She knows she's married, so that's
Yeah,
why I
but
said it would be her part.
what I'm saying is that everyone that is married, man or woman, if it's a man,
Mhm.
and a 10 walks in the room, wherever room he's in, and he's going, oh my goodness. Because you might not, in his, whatever is a 10 to that man, he's not seeing it on a regular basis. So, it happens that way. And then that 10 walks straight up to him and says something very nice. And he goes, and then, the 10 is just being nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then nothing happens. She goes about her business. But then when he approaches her about something, she becomes responsive. It's like, wait a minute, you not, you being responsive just like my wife would or something normal. But instead of the 10 acting like you're not supposed to feel that way, it's okay to feel that way, but understand you're in a responsibility with another person. And and
Yeah.
and and I'm gonna put myself in that person's shoes and let you understand how I would feel if I were her. So what I do is I let them feel if I were their husband, how I'm helping him out.
Right. You know,
You know.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Mhm.
I am just saying, as if we're going to put a married woman in the mix in this example,
Mhm.
when she walks up to you, she knows she's married.
Right. Now they all know they're married, but there is always anything. It's not about not being married. It's not about forgetting that you're married.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the fact that you like what you like sometimes.
Okay, yes, but okay, I think this apples and oranges in this situation that we're talking about now. Apples and oranges
Mhm.
completely, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Because again, that changes the equation altogether. Because again, I understand what you're saying. You have the intestinal fortitude. If a woman came to you and you knew that she was married, and you say, well, I could do this, but because she's not I'm not going to take advantage of her in this vulnerable state. That's your character. I get what you're saying there.
Mhm.
But I am saying that as a woman who is married, or even if we're not married, a woman of a certain age, we have a responsibility to be careful, be mindful of what we're doing and
Mhm.
where we are doing it. We do.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, like I said, I mean, I get what I'm not completely disagreeing, because I say all the time, my husband protects me from myself.
Mhm.
So I get that. And sometimes a man that has the intestinal fortitude, that's generally what women want. A woman wants a man who has the foresight to protect her from herself sometimes. But when we're talking about this, I think that's a little different. I did a little different. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. This is longer than I planned to be, but thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Gosh, it was a pleasure speaking with you, Miss Randolph. I don't
You too.
know
You
much,
too.
but I appreciate it though. I
Okay,
hope
and
we,
come
I
back
hope it made a
again.
difference. I know you made a difference. I really do. The last two shows that you've done was just mind blowing. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Hmm.
I'm trying to do my part. I'm trying to do my part. You understand me?
You are. It matters.
Okay.
All
Have
right.
a good night.
Okay. You too now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I that's what I'm saying. We have to be mindful, because see, I know I'm a lightweight. My friends would tease me and say, I would get drunk off warm milk. So I know that I'm a lightweight. So what is my limit in public? What is my limit in public? Straight up. It was so funny because last weekend at the OU Delta reunion, they were looking at me because I was drinking soda. I think the whole weekend I may have had one cocktail. I wasn't playing. I ain't playing. You understand me? So so when I'm out in public, one. If I'm with Mr. Randolph, I might have two. So he can get a little extra when we get home. You understand me? Anyway. Let's see. No, I don't. I think that she has been inebriated once before, I think. But I think she did a show talking about that. And because I'm going to tell you something. When a person is dealing with depression, they do certain things. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. When I was dealing with depression, this was years ago when I was going through some stuff at my job before I had to sue them. I didn't realize, and my aunt who's living with us now, who's about to be 80, I didn't realize how bad it was until I got on the other side of it, because I literally I was having a drink a vodka, some type of vodka drink every night just to go to sleep. And I don't drink like that. So it is possible that there's some other things going on. I'm not trying to diagnose. I'm just saying based on my own experience. So it is possible. And that if that is the case, because again, I'm not going to be out anywhere, especially out of town without my peoples to make sure I don't do nothing stupid. I'm just not doing it. What do you mean? What do you mean made you weak? What, for chivalry? I need you to explain that. Let me tell you something. You're going to be old too, Derek. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. Just wait and see. You're going to want somebody to listen to you. Watch. Okay. Many responsible. Who knows? Well, what I'm thinking, and if I'm thinking what you're saying, I'm just saying that cut the cameras off because, we're going to take a commercial break. Something. I mean, I've done that even here, not tonight, but if, I'm on a live or something and the doorbell rings or something, I have to fade to black for a minute. That's what I'm talking about. But like I said, I don't think there was any malintent. I think they were intent on having a good time, having fun, being a little flirtatious. I just think it went a little bit too far, in my opinion. And again, speaking as a 56-year-old woman, I say 56, I'll be 56 next month, but also a woman who I was a single mother, of a daughter. I had to be mindful of things that she could be exposed to. Now, obviously, there were certain things that I couldn't control, but the things that I could control, I had that at the forefront of my consciousness. Because again, I was going to be telling her what she needed to do. And I couldn't very well, the way I saw it, you understand me? Okay. Yeah, I mean, here's, and the truth of the matter is, the bottom line is we didn't get here by ourselves. And I'm just going to, again, I say I'm glad again that I went to my reunion. Because if you stay over here long enough, they'll have you thinking if you accomplish, ain't no man gonna want you. If you, a certain age, ain't no man gonna want you. If you can think and speak for yourself, ain't no man gonna want you. If you stay here long enough. But fortunately, at my reunion, I saw, again, many of married couples that I'd known for many years whose wives are, executives, professors, some may be married to men that are executives, some married to men that are blue collar, and they've been happy for 20 plus years. Shout out to Jalen Hurts, frat brother Jalen Hurts, who's $255 million contract was negotiated by my soror of Kappa Alpha chapter of Delta Sigma Theta, who is married. So again, come on now. Enough already. Can we please? Can we please? No. It's not his job. But like I said, if you are my friend, male or female, if I consider you my friend, and I see that you are about to conduct yourself in a way that is not going to serve you well, and if I can do anything to prevent that, that's what I'm going to do. And it's not my responsibility to do it. But if I say you're my friend, if I say I care about you, that's what I'm going to do. And again, I understand everybody don't think like me. But that's the kind of friend I am. Also, if I say I'm your friend, if I say I'm your friend, and again, I know that you have daughters. And I know this is probably not the kind of look that you want them to see. You still may do it anyway. You still may do it anyway, but you ain't gonna never be able to say I didn't try to stop you. Because that's the kind of friend I am. Like I said, Courtney and Lucky done tried to prevent me from calling into many shows, only for me to say, you were right, I shouldn't have done it. I should have done it. But they tried to stop me though, because they knew it was not going to benefit me. That's all I'm saying. No, it's not his responsibility. Thank you, Clue Channel, for the super chats tonight. I appreciate it. Again, it's not to cast any aspersions on him. That's how I would have. And again, when I say that, I'm thinking, wouldn't he have wanted that for his sister? If he has one. And I would get frustrated with Kevin, because I'm thinking the way that he would talk to some of these young women, I'm like, would you want somebody talking to your daughter like that? And I know for a fact he wouldn't. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But I'm going to recap one more time. Melanie, Kevin was your mentor. Clutch, I'm not going to argue with you. You know what I'm saying. Kevin was your mentor. You know he would not. Kevin was good at ignoring people. Do the same. You don't owe anybody any explanation about what your personal life. Yes, they've got a hold of the paperwork with respect to your divorce decree. That's public information. You ain't got to elaborate. Ain't nobody's damn business. Ain't nobody's damn business. You don't owe anybody a fucking thing as far as that. And this is not me riding the Melanie King bandwagon. It's a fact. You don't owe them a damn thing. But if you feel that you want to explain yourself, you do it where you feel safe to do it. Friends don't let friends go live drunk. There was a commercial back in the day. Friends don't let friends drive drunk. Friends don't let friends go live drunk. How about that? You heard what I said. And I meant what I said. We're going to agree to disagree. Thank you for the super chat. Love ya. Love ya. Appreciate you. Thank you all for joining me. Who knew? I mean, again, I don't believe there was any malintent. And again, hindsight is 2020. Monday morning quarterback and got it. And again, I think I think she'll learn from I think he will too. But the truth of the matter is, no one, and this is a fact, I can be your friend, but no one is going to care more about you than you. And that's a fact. It is good that I had friends who covered me. Again, shout out to my Gen Xers, because we got good friends. But no one is going to care more about you than you. And again, for no other reason, young lady, and I say young lady because you're younger than me, to your daughters. That's who you owe. That's who you owe. And I know you love your girls. But because you love your girls, you got to do better, honey. You got to do better. You're too smart for this. You're too smart for that. I'm going to encourage you to be, if the person you are is compassionate, then be that. You're not Kevin. If you're a compassionate person, then be that. If you want to grow these young ladies real, think about how you want to do it, because everybody ain't go, think about how you want to do it. Do you want them to listen to you? If you want them to listen to you, think about how, because I had to do that. And again, I understand you said, fathers talk to their daughters like that. I'm disagree with that. I had to think about it. Fathers are deliberate in their conversation. They are direct. They're not cruel. They're not. They're not cruel. Fathers are not cruel. They're direct. They don't pull no punches. They're going to, but they're not cruel. Mm-mm. And I'm sorry, you can't convince me that your dad was cruel. Not the way you talk about him. Can't convince me of that. So again, shout out to my nephew, Bolo TV. Truth without love is a weapon. We got too many people hurting out here. And that's one of the reasons I really would be frustrated with Kevin, because, I would like, why are these women calling into him first thing? But I would say, you don't know what these women may get off the phone and do when you talking to them like that, because you don't know what they've been through. And you couldn't fall back and say, well, I'm an image consultant, because you weren't giving just image consulting advice, Kevin. So we got to think about that. Think about that. You know good and damn well you wouldn't want nobody talking to your daughter like that. All right. Thank you all for joining me. Please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. I'm gonna go out with again sharing my daughter's website, The Grazing Queen. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you can get your grazing box. You can get your grazing box for Mother's Day. Let's look at that. Look at that. Look at that. You can get your grazing box. Go to her website, The Grazing Queen. Graze like royalty. So this is the brunch box for Mother's Day, and this is her original party box. Check it out, y'all. Check it out. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. I'm a proud mama. Look at that. Get yours. Get yours. Get yours. Okay. So on my way out, you know how I do it. Shout out to my firstborn nephew, Ryan Spunk Adams, because I got to close it with his song Sunshine and Rain. You know how I do it. Follow him on all streaming platforms. Follow him on IG under Spunk Adams. His music on Apple Music, Spunk Adams. On IG, I am Spunk. So we're going to end with his song Sunshine and Rain. This is a little video I put together. My firstborn nephew, my baby before I had a baby. So until next time, please hit the like button on your way out. Okay. Until next time, ciao for now.
Said I got a story to tell. You don't hear me. Said I got a story about a girl. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Check. See, I've been up all night typing this love letter. Hoping you open the message saying I love you better. You've been keeping me on red. I know I'm out the picture. Ain't nothing worse than the wave. Just the request I started on a nigga wave like a drop by. Saw you out, so I figured out I say hi. Ain't no pressure, just want a good time. Something we get to share up on a timeline. She's my type of girl. Magic carpet around the world. She'll show you things that you can't imagine. Straight hair or fancy curl, bright as diamonds, clutch as pearls. She's my one and only digital girl. My sunshine and the rain. Sunshine and the rain. My sunshine and the rain. Oh, mama, my. My sunshine and the rain. Sunshine in the rain. Mm-hmm.
First we outside, you beaming your light, giving me shades of dope. Now I'm walking in pools of water, my Yeezy. So you had a faith that get Jesus hope, but the devil is pleased. I'm on my knees, I intercede for our peace. Girl, your love is the antidote. Body like a goddess, your beauty on displays in the finest museums. You shining like discos, but who knew that through the fire your heart will grow this froze? Unwrap your envelope, baby, let's disclose. I don't beat around bushes, no babe, I don't tiptoes. Not a ballerina, but I see balances drop jaws from your spoken words that rain dancing in tip jars. I applaud you, but these problems we face feeling so colossal. You push shovels with dirt, digging on my fossils. Every hurt I try and fix, you say I scarred you. I've dropped dimes before, don't tell me that I lost you. It's two sides to every coin, and every road's gonna have its thorns. I'm placing these stems, my palms bleed. Maybe your rain can rinse these stains from these leaves, cause I still need my sunshine in the rain. My sunshine in the rain. Sunshine, my sunshine in the rain. Yeah. My sunshine in the rain.